Welcome to this edition of This Old Trailer. Today we're going to fix a leak in a pretty standard and pretty old trailer shower diverter valve. As you can see, we've got a leak going on there. That's normal. This is a 1992 trailer, and I don't think the washers have ever been replaced. Same goes for any kind of fixture like this. They usually have a pretty cheap washer in there that just needs to be replaced. So the first thing you're going to do is get a small flat blade screwdriver, and you're just going to pry off the little cover. All faucets of this type with these plastic handles, they all have a little cover like that. You're just going to pry that off. Sometimes you have to find a little keyhole, a little place where you can get under there. And you're just going to pry from that point, like so. And then you'll have a Phillips head screw there. And you're just going to take your Phillips head screwdriver and unscrew that screw. Pretty basic stuff. And the handle comes right off. And then you will see the actual valve body right there. And depending on the make and model of the faucet, you're going to have different ways to deal with this. But usually you're going to end up with a valve set screw or a valve nut that has to come out. So here we have these two little plastic bodies. The next thing we need to do is unscrew that right there. They do make what they call shower valve wrenches. That's basically a really thin-walled, hollow wrench, and they come in all different sizes that work well for that. But this one's actually shallow enough, we could probably just use a deep socket on it. We'll go get those. Alright, I went and got a 3/4 inch deep socket. And we're just going to unscrew that nut there. Move the whole fixture there. I did have the water turned off, but I did not drain the excess pressure out of the lines. And go ahead and open up both valves here. Drain the water out. And we'll go ahead and continue. And there's our valve right there. It's a pretty standard design. Nothing fancy there. We do have, looks like, two washers that we're going to have to replace. We got this one and that one. The one on the top there acts as a sealing washer when you tighten down the faucet handle. So this top washer is actually going to be the one that's sealing, the one that's failed and causing a drip. So we're going to go ahead and use our screwdriver and pull that off. I'm going to pause it here. Alright, what I've done is I put the valve back into the handle to hold the valve stem, and I used my screwdriver and I just unscrewed that there. And now this little washer just pops right out. And you can see that one's pretty well deformed. They actually start out flat, and some of them start out with a slightly convex shape to them. So that one's seen many years of tightening and untightening. That's your main sealing washer right there. So I'm gonna pull these washers off, go down to Home Depot, and spend some more money there, and get some new washers, and I'll put them in. We're back from Home Depot. Turned out to be a zero washer. I know it was one of the three. They go from 000 to 00 to 0, and then they go up in size from there. But usually I have an assortment with me, but I've since downsized and got rid of all my extra washers and stuff. So I just went ahead and bought a pack of flat washers. They were $1.65 for 10 of them. So, you know, they aren't expensive at all. You can buy a whole brand new valve stem assembly if, say that the valve stem is leaking from the threads there. When you take it out, you want to examine the area around the threads here. Basically, as this screws in and out, there is a valve stem packing or an O-ring inside there that's also sealing. And if that internal O-ring or valve stem packing is failing, you're going to want to unscrew this whole thing and replace that one as well. But if it's not leaking, if you don't see any signs of leaking from around there, you're probably good to go. Same thing with this base gasket here. A lot of the newer valve stems are coming with a nylon stem gasket there. That's the part that seals up against the body to seal water from coming around from the base there. I went to Ace and Home Depot, and none of them sold this gasket independently. Even looking through all of Ace's bins, they didn't have anything that was exactly the same as that. So I could use a big O-ring there, like a 3/4 inch O-ring. I could use maybe a fiber gasket or something, but mine actually look okay and they weren't leaking, so I'm going to go ahead and reuse them. But if you are showing signs of leaking, if you're getting leaks from around the faucet base there, or out from around the handle, which would be coming from the valve stem packing, you want to go ahead and either replace this whole thing or replace the internal valve stem packing and or this seal here. But in my case, the only thing that's going bad is this is the actual valve seat seal. My camera doesn't want to focus on that. There we go. So you're going to take out that screw and pull the gasket out. And you'll have what looks like a little cup there. And that little cup is where the flat washer sits. You're going to want to go ahead and take some Scotch-Brite and just shine all this up, kind of go over all the threads, go over the whole thing, kind of get rid of some of that corrosion and calcium deposit there. And then what you're going to do is put your new washer in. Sometimes they can be a little bit difficult to get down into the cut. They're just slightly large, and basically just work it around with your thumbnail, pushing in the bottom until you get the seat down in there. And then you take your screw, put it back in there. And let's see if I can do this left-handed. Get it started. And then set it down into the base, and then you can screw it down the rest of the way with your screwdriver. And go ahead and get both valve seats cleaned up, get the washer installed, and come back here. Before you actually put it back together, you do want to check out your valve seats. See that little hex in there? Get it. Light is way overpowering. So you got that down in the bottom there, you see that hex ring. And that's actually an unscrewable valve seat. If you've got any pitting or nicks on the valve seat there, you take the appropriate size hex or Allen wrench, stick it in there and unscrew the valve seat. And you can actually replace that as well. So you want to examine that surface. If it's if you've gone a really long time without replacing the sealing washer and it had a metal-to-metal contact, sometimes you need to replace that. If we're really cash poor, you can actually get a valve stem or a valve seat grinder and it'll actually resurface that valve seat. But as cheap as they are, they're probably less than $1 each. Just go ahead and unscrew those, put a new valve seat in, and you're good to go. But in most situations, it's just this the seal washer that goes bad, and that's all I'm replacing today. Alright, I've got both washers replaced. I even threw some water-based lubricant onto the big sealing gasket there. That's basically KY jelly, any kind of silicone-based lubricant will work there. You don't want to use an oil-based product, you want it to be water-soluble. This one's not as important. That's seeing so much abuse. It's constantly being screwed and unscrewed, so that's not a big deal. So, and I got it cleaned up enough. I'm just going to put it in there. Screw it right in. Take our socket wrench. Kind of snug it up a little bit, and then make sure you're backed out all the way on your valve stem. Make sure that's open all the way. Otherwise, you're basically wrenching down on your stem seal, and you don't want to be wrenching out on your stem seal. Snug it up. Make sure it's backed out all the way. Do the same thing over here. Back it out. And you're not going for super tightness here. You're like, I'm guessing that's about 15 foot-pounds. I always consider if I'm holding the base of the wrench about as tight as I can get it from the base of the wrench, that's like 10, 15, probably more than that. And then if I want like 20, 25, I'll come out here to the end of the wrench and give it that extra little bit. But 10, 15 foot-pounds, I'm usually holding the base of the wrench right there. Alright, and you did see this move around a little bit. This thing needs to be replaced. This thing is as old as the trailer is, but it still works just fine, and kind of a cheap ass, you know. We live in a hard water area, so anything I buy is going to get hard water stains on it right away anyways. So, you know, $1.65 to replace the washers, and I got a whole pack of them. I can replace them for the life of the faucet. I'm not going to worry about replacing the whole faucet right now. And there's also the matter of having to get back behind there. You can tighten it up from the back so that it doesn't move around, but it's you know, tight enough the way it is. It's not a big deal. It's nice and dirty. I didn't clean it up for the video. We are going to put our little lock washer back in there. And basically what that does is it locks that hex in so that while you're turning it, can't move that thing. And then this is just a little slide washer. Goes on top. Like so. Same thing over here. A slide washer. There we go. Doesn't look pretty, but I know not everyone out there has crystal clean bathrooms. Gonna put those back on. I'm a bachelor and a full-time RVer, so I don't really give a shit. holes where a magnetic screwdriver would be nice. And an extra hand. There. Screw these back on. And then find your corresponding temperature label there. Put that on, and now I've actually got a lot less travel on the thing because it's sealing much sooner than it was before. So now it's only, before I could unscrew it like 3 or 4 times and then screw it back down. It would take 3 or 4 times. Now we got like what? Got maybe 1 turn in the whole travel. So the old washers were definitely going bad. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this one up, tighten everything up, and turn the water on, and then we're going to check for leaks. That's how it's done.